that would be a very high energy introduction to the episode. But we're back. Look, Mom, we're back. Another episode 16. How you feeling? Thank you for the water.
Oh, you're welcome. No, I'm going good. It's hopefully we can have a nice longer episode. Archie's booked in daycare today. No.
You need to move that.
Gotta move this.
Paranoid.
Dangerous.
Yeah. Well, don't put it next to the power board either, please. Sorry, guys. We're just setting up the OH&S parameters of the podcast episode before we get rolling into this week's episode. Sarah's being...
Not as cautious as I usually am with my water, but...
A bit of a risk taker.
Yeah, I know. Now it's safe now. It's got a good surrounding, so water won't go anywhere if it does spill.
Good surrounding of what? Carpet?
Yeah, that will soak up the water if it does fall.
As opposed to going into the input of the power board.
Yeah, and then short-circuiting everything, and then we're done for the day.
Yeah. Great start.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening to the podcast episode. Oh, man.
Oh, but we're in another week of lockdown again, yeah?
Yeah, we're locked inside, got tested recently, which is always a super fun experience. Negative for those playing at home.
Playing at home, all right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let us know how your answer went if you were...
Yeah.
You gave them like a half second to get an answer in, but negative anyway, yep.
Yeah, so it got negative, but the wait time was quite a while on the drive, but we, I don't know, just chatted and planned, and luckily we have our phones and mobile reception so we can actually get some work done while we're waiting in the queue to get tested and make sure that we're safe and healthy and...
We're not healthy.
No.
We're somewhat safe.
Somewhat safe. We're working on being healthy with our vitamins and trying to eat better and just being a little bit more conscious.
Try to.
Yeah, we do try to. Anyway.
It's an ongoing thought and exercise.
It is, yeah. It's a continuous effort to try and always be conscious of it, and it just takes a lot of effort it's easier to be lazy and not worry about your health and all that kind of stuff, so. I
feel like there's got to be like, straight away, I've got an idea, like, I get app ideas out of nowhere. There needs to be like there probably is one, there needs to be a boot camp app. It's just like, the app just yells at you, like,
I'm pretty sure The Rock had something like that where
really?
it was like an exercise app, and it would have like an alarm feature, and I'm pretty sure like the wake up alarm was get out of bed or something like that.
I'm sure Mark Wahlberg has.
He's crazy ones. He's like 3 a.m. sort of wake up calls to start exercising. That dude is buff.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely some performance enhancing drugs. I'm not going to say that. Not drugs, but substances, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe some coffee.
Possibly.
A lot of coffee, perhaps, to get him going early in the morning. But yeah, he's a savage. They get up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, start working. Yeah. Done it a few times. Not easy.
No, I remember you like getting up super early in the morning, and I'm like, still in bed.
Granted, that gym was like 300 meters from the house, so it wasn't too hard to get there, but
still though.
Bit of a struggle if you're a ways from a gym.
Yeah, definitely. And then having to wake up early in the morning if you're not usually a morning person, which I am not. I'm a lot better than what I used to be, but definitely, yeah, I'm more of if I was to work out, it's more of a before coffee, maybe evening one.
Well, when I used to go to the gym frequently, I'd always go on an empty stomach in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really do them in the afternoon. I don't know. Don't have the energy. But it's saying that first thing in the morning, your body's all cold and stiff as well. So,
yeah,
who knows? What's the bloody right time to work out?
I don't think there probably is some scientific evidence around that, but I do not know at this point in time. Whatever works for you and your schedule, that's the right time to work out.
That's true. Probably just get out there and do it would be the correct answer that any exercise junkie would say.
Yeah, as any of those motivational, inspiring, whether it's on Instagram, YouTube, just get started.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Always inspired by it all.
Do you get inspired by Instagram posts? The ones that are like, be humble and take things for granted today.
No, not really.
Don't take things for granted.
Be humble and take things for granted. Yes, those are the type of posts that inspire me. Not really on Instagram. I take a lot of like visual inspiration from Instagram, whether it's like cool landscape shots or I know just like interesting things that people like. We follow a lot of resellers, interesting things that people pick up. I kind of like. But
you've never read like a quote.
The women in the bikinis being like, today is the first day of the rest of your life.
Well, that's one side of the coin. And then there's also just like just a simple quote over clouds or like some author quote to like make your life better in an instant. Does it ever work?
No, not really. It's more of the, you know what? I take more inspiration from like long conversations, things like that. I don't really take something from just like a snapshot of just like scrolling through. It needs to be like a good sort of like, I need to be able to pay attention to it, absorb it, and then I'll be able to get inspired from it, I think.
So where's the line drawn then? So let's say one photo and a quote is not enough to inspire you. Something longer is like something at 30 seconds, 1 minute, not enough, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, like is like Instagram reel for 15 seconds enough to like get you motivated for something?
I think so, yeah. As long as it's like,
so it's got to be more than a still image.
Yeah, it has to be movement, it has to be like stimulating.
So it can't just be The Rock just like pointing at his bicep being like, get it.
No, that wouldn't. Would that inspire you? Get it?
Maybe
With some muscles?
Maybe two double pump. Get it on both biceps. Yeah, something like that maybe.
Yeah, and then like a nice little quote down the bottom as well in the bio.
Interesting.
Or description. Yeah.
So not a still, it has to be a moving image for it to inspire you. That makes sense.
Yeah. And like then you have, besides, you know, Instagram with the reels and the stories, you've got, you know, the other platforms like YouTube or Pinterest or like Pinterest is actually a really good one. I get inspired by a lot of those. Actually, I get a lot
probably because there's multiple images and they tell a story.
Yeah.
In like a sequence.
Yeah, so that kind of still ones I'll take inspiration, but that was what I was talking about, more landscape, that kind of thing. So actual like visual creativity or well, I can't even speak right now. Creative posts. Yep. Yeah, that I would, but not the, you know, people in a bikini and the lounging around and be like,
you keep circling back to bikinis. I
don't know, it just seems to be the go-to.
I'm getting inspired by bikinis now. Like, I'm talking like, yeah, okay, bikinis. Yep, fair enough.
No, I'm just like, that's like the generic, like when people think about like, you know, IG inspirational posts, it's always like those kind of
maybe for like I have a completely different perspective as a male. Yeah,
well, you follow a lot of like hustling posts and things like that. More financial motivation.
But I guess the same. Like the single ones don't quite do it. They don't really convey the inflection that's needed for some like words and to like hit on key points. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and everybody gets inspired by different ways anyway. So whether it is that, I mean, it might work for someone, it just doesn't work for me.
Does this inspire you?
This podcast?
Yeah, right now.
You inspire me every day.
Oh, thank you. You inspire me also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Great conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
So I feel like Instagram's not like really, I feel like it's dying at the moment. They basically came out and said it's no longer a photo sharing platform anymore. It's mostly video now.
Yeah, I find that Reels are heaps more common now, which we need to sort of like, I don't know much about Reels and the algorithm and how that works. I really got to look into that to see if that really helps with engagement. But from what you're telling me, the Reels and the videos seem to have a little bit more of an impact than just like those sort of still grid style posts.
Yeah, they are. They do now for sure. And going forward as well. Yeah. So no more photos on Instagram. We have to do less photos and more video stuff, which is always fun and harder. But every app's doing video now. Yeah. Every app's doing the Clubhouse thing now as well. Twitter Spaces is pretty big.
Really?
Every time I go on Facebook, there's an audio room or whatever it's called at the top, ready to go. So everything's going to be audio and video. So maybe single post stuff is on its way out. Yeah. It's vintage now. Just photos are vintage.
And like social media just moves so fast in that way. Because if you think about, I don't know, there's been other platforms in the past, whether it was like the Musical.ly, which is now like pretty much TikTok.
Musical.ly.
Is it Musical.ly?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Like all those sort of stuff. Snapchat.
Do you still have Snapchat?
No, I don't even use that at all. I know some people still use Snapchat, or I think it might be still popular for like younger people. Yeah. Do you still use it?
I don't know.
No.
But like I've seen someone the other day say, contact me on Snap. I'm like, no. Not going to happen.
Yeah, the filters and stuff were fun on Snapchat, but I think then Instagram started incorporating those filters and everyone like went back to Insta with that kind of thing.
What was the original video app?
Oh.
Because I used to use Periscope a lot. Yeah. This is not the first one, but Periscope was like one of the first live streaming apps, which was just basically live streaming via Twitter.
Right. Yeah, I was never big into Twitter, so I didn't use that much. Would like the chat roulette, Omegle style things sort of count? But then you had Vine.
Surely there was like an AOL chat. Vine. I never used Vine.
No, I was like past Vine. I missed the whole boat, like the Vine boat. But I used to watch a lot of like Vine stuff on YouTube. Like they would have just like the Vine compilations. Yeah, it was just like
15 seconds is like, what is different from Vine to TikTok?
So Vine was like you only had that 15 seconds. TikTok used to be 15 seconds, but now you can have up to 30 seconds, I think, on TikTok.
It's the same thing? Or is it like, what's the difference? Because were they going to do Vine 2.0 or something at one point?
Yeah, I think they were, but I think the Vine was just like short stories, like short little clips, like memes, essentially. Well, I think Vine actually is
I feel like they've just been completely ripped off and it's gone unnoticed.
Well, like it went down anyway, but I think a lot of people took the inspo from Vine with like those little short meme, funny stories that people would have. And then that's essentially like what TikTok is now. But added in the music, because I don't think you could really have that with Vine.
What was the gap? Oh, I suppose YouTube was the gap then. Like everyone, like obviously probably like how many years between Vine and TikTok? Probably like 10 years.
Yeah, it would
Vine was out ages ago.
Yeah, well, there was Musical.ly before TikTok, but yeah,
where'd all the creators go? Straight to YouTube.
Yeah, because I remember like back in the day, this is like old school YouTube, not old school, but like it feels like it's moved so fast in like the past 10 years. But I remember like all these new creators started popping up on YouTube and like, where did they come from? And you find out they used to be like in a Vine house together.
A Vine house.
Yeah. And then they would make it like people live in like a TikTok house or a YouTube house, you know, all these creators.
Live in a podcast house.
A podcast house, the It's Drew and Sarah Look Mum Hustling house. Ooh.
Cottage sounds better.
Cottage?
Let's call it cottage and put some wooden panels up on the front.
Ooh. Yeah. I like that. That looks cool.
So they went to all the Viners, went to YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. So all those big Vine creators went into YouTube. So some of them was obviously the Paul brothers. They were like huge. The Paul brothers, the Logan and Jake's. I think Logan was bigger, and then you got like David Dobrik was huge on Vine.
That's the main one I'm familiar with. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
it was massive.
Yeah. Like because
his videos are still like the same format as Vine, right? Like he'll do like a 4-minute video, and it's basically like a compilation of like Vines
short
or TikToks.
Clips. Yeah, they're very, very snappy short clips, very like instant sort of clickbaity sort of style. And yeah, I think he released like a video a day for ages, but it was that very, very sort of snappy, 7-second style clip. Sometimes it would be longer, but most of the time it was he just like, pretty much translated Vine into YouTube, that he sort of style.
That was, not recently.
No.
So those kids are pretty old now.
Yeah, they used to be.
Not as old as us.
No, but they'll probably, in those Vine days, they're probably like, 15, 16, maybe just shy under 18.
So probably like mid-20s now.
Yeah, so they're all like mid-20s. Yeah, far out. Makes me feel a little bit on the older side.
Yeah, very old. Well, how old would we have been when YouTube came out? Let's have a look when YouTube came out.
Yeah, because I'm just, like, my earlier memories of YouTube would just be looking at a lot of like dance compilations, you know, and like the Napoleon Dynamite dance was like heaps popular and like that was going viral.
Show us what it looks like. Do it again.
For those just listening. Look at the camera.
Camera A.
This one.
Yeah. Camera B. No camera there. 14th of Feb 2005.
2005.
That's when it was founded. Then obviously I don't know how long it took to get the servers and everything running. Let's say 2006, started 2006.
So 2006, I was in year 6.
2006, you were in year 6. 2006, you would have finished high school.
Oh yeah, 2006, I was in year 12.
Trying to shave 10 years off your age.
Yeah.
I don't think so. 15 years.
Wow. Yeah, so in the early stages, it would just be like, those dance viral compilations.
What's the first video you remember watching? Like, obviously, you probably watched one before the one you were going to say now and recall. What's the first one you remember?
It was like this old dude sort of like dancing through the ages. It was like a comedy clip kind of thing. And he was like doing all these.
Try and find? No.
Oh, no. He has all these like little dancing through the ages and like a comedy clip.
Dancing, like what do you mean? Like different dance styles through like each decade.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And it was just like this funny like dad style dude doing it.
What's your favorite decade of dance? It used to be a tap dance. Fun note. I'd have to say like the 50s and 60s, but that's only because I grew up on like those style movies. So like Elvis Presley?
No, Elvis Presley didn't tap dance. Gene Kelly, everybody, Fred Astaire, all those type of ones.
Elvis
Judy
Presley
Garland.
Certainly did tap dance.
He wasn't like his style of movies though.
Guarantee he did a tap dance.
He probably did do a tap dance at some point.
So why are you saying he didn't?
But because he wasn't a very good tap dancer.
But he did it.
Oh, I don't.
We're not very good
know.
podcasters, but we're doing the podcast.
But you asked. They don't know that. Shh.
My first video I remember was like Kimbo Slice, like having backyard fights.
Kimbo Slice? What is that?
You've never seen Kimbo Slice?
No.
All right, so keep it going.
Yeah.
I'll show you a video. We can't really show it on air, but Kimbo Slice ended up being a UFC fighter.
Right.
But he was huge at the time for just backyard brawls.
Oh, so a bit like, this is going to sound so bad, but like those homeless people fights and stuff that they used to have?
Not really homeless, just like real ghetto fights.
Far out.
So I'll find an old one.
Yeah.
I ended up getting into the UFC actually.
Oh, that's mental.
Yeah.
So it was like YouTube his gateway into the
He did
UFC?
pass away a couple of years ago.
Oh.
But this was like, I'm trying to find one of the OG videos.
But do you think like YouTube sort of helped promote his, I guess, personality to then go into UFC, or was it just pure
gap
talent?
between when he was blowing up and UFC was quite some time. It wasn't like the next year.
Right, gotcha. Because I know that some people like use YouTube as a platform to their next stage, so whether they're an actor or someone talented.
So he's a big guy that looks like Rick Ross, the rapper. He's so big.
Oh my God. He is a tank, an absolute beast.
Just bare knuckle. It's savage. Like this is what YouTube was back then.
Just backyard brawls.
Yep.
Backyard brawls and dancing.
Maybe I've probably watched a bunch before that, but in terms of like shock value and seeing something a bit out there.
Yeah, and this is before like the YouTube recommended and all that kind of stuff as well. So you just be actively searching for the stuff that you want to see. Or like, I guess it'd be more of like what's trending and what's popular would be the stuff that you'd see the most.
Yeah. Other than that, I used to watch a lot of like just music videos.
That was my next one. Yeah, I was about to say I watched a lot of music videos because being in Australia, a lot of the artists and punk bands that I liked didn't come tour over here, so you wouldn't never be able to see them live.
Yeah.
But you'd have like some kid would have filmed it on like their camcorder back before mobile phones with their
big chunky handy cam.
Yeah. Even when I was a kid, I used to, not a kid, young teenager, I had like a camcorder and we used to go around and like in the city and like film bands and all that kind of stuff as well.
We do have that footage as well. We are looking at doing a Patreon. I'm joking.
No.
We're going to put it behind a paywall. But
I'm pretty sure it was like Yellow Card was like one of the ones that we sort of like went around and tried to follow and stuff. But
something with numbers.
Yeah, exactly. After the fall, all those kind of ones. But even then, because we didn't have a lot of access here in Australia, watched a lot of music on YouTube, which was great. And then I think MySpace ended up starting to put videos on their platform.
Did they?
I think so. Or they tried to. No, MySpace tried to get into the video format. So, because you know how MySpace slowly started to become more music and band focused?
Yeah.
And then they started to put in, you'd be able to put your songs, your MP3 songs and all that kind of stuff. And then they tried to turn into like a music video sort of platform, I think. But then MySpace just
that was their demise.
Yeah, MySpace just sort of tanked. But Facebook...
You heard it here first. MySpace were 2 ahead of their time.
2 ahead of their time. But it was mainly because Facebook sort of started to take the interest from MySpace away and everything.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sarah, you're a wealth of knowledge when it comes to social media.
Well, I was just an emo girl, and I just really liked enjoying doing the HTMLs on the profiles and, you know, live journal and all those kind of ones.
Live journal?
Your favorite Neopets.
Yeah. So that was a while ago. Then I feel like there's been definitely different generations or different eras of YouTube and like YouTube personalities along the way. Like after that, like what was the next big wave? Like really, like all the Vine, pretty much. So the stuff we were talking about, I guess, was before Vine was even out. So
100%.
before that Vine wave sort of emigrated or like had a mass movement over to YouTube.
Yeah. Well, a lot of those apps only were able to come about with the invention of the mobile phones with their cameras and all that kind of stuff. Because if you think about...
Which was iPhone was like, what, 2007? First
was
iPhone.
the first one, yeah. And then they started doing camera and video and all that kind of thing. But because everything was in portrait mode, it wasn't really until, I guess, the technology of phones improved that those apps like Vine and sort of stuff came out, which is why I think YouTube is still in that landscape format.
So YouTube came out 2006 or 2005, let's say it started 2006. iPhone 1 came out, it's 2007. obviously, did they even have video on the first ones?
I don't think so. I think the video started like iPhone 3 maybe.
Let's say it came out a couple of generations later, and then add a few more years on for like mass adoption for iPhone to be the phone.
Yeah.
Like, let's say plus 3 or 4 years for a decent video quality, plus 3 or 4 for like mass adoption.
Yeah.
So that's what, like 8 years on top of 2007, 2015 is like when everyone has a phone, a good iPhone and good quality video. So like there was a huge gap there of like what I don't remember watching much at all until that sort of wave of like vloggers came around.
Yeah, I think before the vloggers, there was just a lot of like screen sharing style stuff. So it'd be a lot of game players and everything. So people with PCs, you'd have a lot of that sort of footage.
There's no drones or anything.
No.
The GoPro probably very in its early infancy, but I guess probably like a lot of home video type sports stuff, maybe skateboarding, surfing, just home video uploads.
Yes, like everyone watching, like the extreme sports, because people would love to watch that. So whether it's like you said, the skateboarding and all that kind of stuff, but there was a lot of animation style on YouTube, which I used to watch. Like remember Salad Fingers?
Yeah, sort of. They were like pre the initial like viral videos, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. So there'd be like a lot of animation style, a lot of sketch comedy was on YouTube as well. So it was a lot of like pre-production sketch, like trying to make, because that's what I mean. Like a lot of people were using YouTube to sort of like
Jackass era, like that type of stuff, like homemade Jackass type stuff. Sort
of. It would be just more like sketch comedy style. So people trying to elevate until to get into either that comedy space. Like people would use YouTube to get into TV, into movies and all that kind of stuff. And you would use like YouTube as like a beginning platform if you couldn't get your foot in the door.
Who?
I don't know. Like
I can't think of anyone that's gone, other than Logan Paul, that's gone from like YouTube to like movies.
There would be... Yeah, that's true. There'll probably be a few out there that I can't think off the top of my head.
Comedians, like
I'd say comedians
and stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that vlog, I guess that vlog away from what, 2013 to like 18 maybe?
Yeah.
There's very, very loose numbers, by the way.
Yeah.
We didn't pull these from like a YouTubepedia site or anything.
We're basing it off like our age and memory.
Poor knowledge and old age, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a 5-6 year period where like the vlogging was massive.
Huge.
Probably assisted with like, again, mass adoption and technology growth in like GoPros, drones, better DSLR cameras, vlogging gear. Yeah,
like more affordable vlogging gear. Like cameras started to get cheaper. Phones started to get cheaper.
Computers and probably computers getting cheaper and editing software becoming
like easier
and cheaper. Yeah. So like production value went up, quality went up, and then all you needed was an influx of like, I guess, personality to like produce the content.
Yeah. And then you'd have like all these different style vloggers. You'd have like the weekly vloggers, or you'd have like tech vloggers. You'd have like cooking vloggers and things like that. Thinking back, there wasn't that many big stars on YouTube. So you managed to watch a lot of their content.
That's true. And like they're all super niche. Oh, like it still is, but super niched, like technology or travel or whatever.
They had really like their set field. So if you're looking for something, you're like, oh, I'm going to go watch this person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the GOAT at the time, and still is, definitely Casey Neistat.
Oh, like, 100%.
Unbeatable when it comes to just everything YouTube, basically.
Well, we were watching a couple of his videos the other day, and I was seeing some of like the shot styles that he does, so whether it's just like the close-up of opening a door, putting the key in the ignition, like the setting up the camera and walking past, like all that kind of stuff is things that I realized that we took inspiration from, but I see it in so many other style videos as well. Like you'd have to be like the grandfather of vlogging, right?
Yeah, definitely set the standard of what can be achieved as a single person channel and like production company and stuff, but he had a lot of experience doing like smaller films and stuff and ads and whatnot, so we had a lot of experience in terms of camera knowledge and setting up scenes and telling a story, as opposed to people coming in fresh and stuff that were perhaps doing like YouTube Vine 15 like turning 15 seconds into a 5 to 8 minute video.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah, and you can even see from like the beginning the amount of like skill and effort like he put into every video, like whether it's being conscious of the shot or the words that he said was like it was never really realized how thought out it was, especially considering he was doing them daily, and he was like one of the first people to do them daily, right?
Yeah, well, we watched that Bertcast episode and did 800 episodes in a row daily.
Yeah, daily.
And like that's a mammoth effort.
Oh, I can't even. It would just take up 100% of your mental space.
Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to think about that daily.
He was in a good position. Like realistically, like obviously he put a lot of work in, had a lot of connections and stuff, but he was in New York City. Something happening every second.
Perfect scenery. Perfect.
Perfect. Yeah. And just had the knowledge of the city, had connections from like growing up there and stuff.
Yeah.
It's easy for us. This is not easy for us to say, but like easier to make a story every day there as compared to other places, perhaps.
Yeah. There's, like you said, if you're smack bang in the middle of the city, like if you're in smack bang in the middle of Sydney, like there'd be something to be able to comment on or do or every day. But I think his personality and like just the way that he's able to speak and connect, I think really resonated with a lot of people. The fact that he like lined it up with really good cinematography, but then also that fun with like the motorized scootboard. Scootboard.
How old are you? 80?
Scooting around board, the skateboard that he had. Yeah, it was good. But just like the knowledge that he had on cameras, on tech. And then when he started to get into the drones, I'd never seen, he was have to be one of the first on YouTube for drones as well, wouldn't he?
No, there would have been guys doing it way before.
Yeah.
But probably not as gigantic a channel. Like Ben Brown had a huge, or probably still does, haven't watched it in a while, travel vlog. Heaps of those guys. Peter McKinnon came around a little bit later. But vlogging is still like one of the mainstays of YouTube.
Yeah.
Like when you think of types of videos, like what is there? There's like reaction videos.
Yeah.
They've been around for a while, pretty more popular now, reacting on different music videos or TV shows, whatever. You got
the craft and DIY style videos, like restoration.
Straight up tech reviews.
Yeah. Tech.
And then vlogs. They're pretty like a couple of the main pillars. Yeah. And then like gaming is a huge one as well.
Gaming's massive, cooking, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Because like when I used to, I don't get to watch a lot of YouTube now, but when I used to watch a lot of YouTube, it was a mix of, the vloggers, the sketch comedy, and a lot of gameplay on there.
What gameplay are you watching?
I don't know. I'm terrible at games, but I actually used to enjoy watching other people play games. So whether it was like back in the really, because my brother used to play a lot of PC games. So like back in the early days of like Armor and like when DayZ was just a mod, not like a game by itself.
Don't know what that is, so you're already nerdier than I am.
It's just like a zombie like post-apocalyptic one, but you'd have people that would, play the game, but there'll be a character in the game, so they'll make it entertaining and interesting, and they'll just like get up to mischief.
So not on Twitch, on YouTube.
This is like before Twitch.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is what people used to do, and they used to like put on characters and just make like a nice, fun, entertaining sort of video with that sort of gameplay. And then the Slender Man style stuff came in, where people would have like the group gameplays, and then you have all these sort of like style personalities, and that's all like PewDiePie and like Mr. Beast grew up in, and all that kind of stuff as well. So a lot of those, I guess, really popular YouTubers now, gaming was like their gateway into it. And then you have some other YouTubers where travel was their gateway, or recording their everyday life. Yeah, there's so many different opportunities on YouTube, and I didn't realize like how much my taste has changed.
What do you watch now?
So I watch a lot more like lifestyle and vlogs now. So, a little like guilty pleasures of Emma Chamberlain. Like I do sort of like her style.
Why?
She's just.
I'm sorry, I'm just like abruptly interrupting you.
Why? Why do you like her?
Three reasons off the top. Don't think about it. What do you love most about her videos and channel? Go.
Yeah, well, I like how she comes across being authentic.
Yep.
I like the fact that she's veggie and plant-based, so she talks about that stuff. She also thrifts and likes that kind of, and she's just like, quirky, doesn't care how she looks like on camera. She's just like won't have any makeup, will like burp and fart on it as well.
So she's not the outlier, not to sound mean like an outlier, but she's bucking the norm, bucking the trend compared to most, this is loose terms, most other female vloggers that are like doing straight up like beauty and doing
fashion.
makeup.
And she does do that stuff. She does like daily routine. She does like a little bit of food and beauty, and she loves fashion. And like, I don't really follow much on Instagram because it's just like fashion
Like she just
posts.
is vulnerable and just farts and doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, so she's just like natural, which is, I guess, why a lot of people do like watching her vlogs. Is just, you know, she's just she comes across as being a real person. Yeah, rather than just like if it was a Kardashian having a blog, you know, you're just like.
You've trimmed a lot of shit out to look perfect right now.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, there's like half the time she's like, her hair's all over the place. She's wearing glasses and she's in bed. Just be like, yeah, I didn't really feel like doing much this afternoon. So I just like played a Fortnite for 5 hours. You know, it's just, you know, and she talks about mental health and all that kind of stuff too, which is, it's cool.
What else? Vlogs. What else? What will you go and... I don't even know what my question was then.
No, or like, sort of other stuff that I sort of watch now is... And I was thinking about this. It's more of like, I used to watch YouTube a lot for entertainment. Now I watch it more for educational purposes and like research. So because we create content now on YouTube, you know, you want your videos to succeed and all that kind of stuff. So you tend to do research into like what other people are doing and take inspiration from that.
Yeah.
So whether it's like a particular style thumbnail, you know, how they position their music, or like what you're talking before with Casey Neistat, whether it's, you know, making sure you have a beginning, a middle, and an end, like a really cohesive story. It just depends, like, I guess what we're doing that week and what I want to take inspo from. So yeah, I definitely use YouTube a lot more for research purposes than for entertainment, but I do like to watch a lot of like podcast style stuff now on YouTube. So whether it's, you know, if I want a bit of like what's going on in YouTube drama, I'll watch a little bit of like H3, or, you know, if you want a bit of like comedy, you watch some sort of stand-up comedians podcast, because there's so many over there on YouTube.
That's definitely what I watch a lot more now, like just as a background noise while working.
Yeah.
You can listen to podcasts anytime, but I kind of prefer the video versions. You can get some nice overlays and see reactions and personalities a little bit more than just the audio version.
Yeah.
But like the ones that you watch, do you listen to the audio versions ever, or like are there certain ones that you're only like H3? Do you ever listen to the audio version?
Yeah, sometimes I do. So it just depends what I'm doing. So just say I like to listen to the video podcast if I'm cooking. That way I can sort of look at the screen. But just say if I'm driving, then I'll go on to Spotify or the podcast platform and listen it that way.
Yeah. So it's interesting to me that there's a lot more video podcasts on there now. Like you said, they're mostly comedians jumping on back and forth from one another, heaps of other categories as well. But you can't, unless you have the YouTube, what's it called, subscription?
The premium.
Yeah, you can't listen to it in the background.
Yeah.
So that's why the Joe Rogan one on Spotify is really cool, because you can switch between video and audio, closing the app or doing 50 different things.
Yeah.
Whereas YouTube, you got to have the tab open unless you're paying for YouTube's subscription, which probably costs the same as Spotify anyway, realistically.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that the longer form stuff might work on there. Like Joe Rogan was like the king of like getting like 3-hour episodes up on there frequently, setting that standard. And now he's on Spotify, but everyone else is still on YouTube. Not everyone's going to get a Spotify deal, obviously.
No. And I think I read somewhere that Spotify are working with some other creators to get them across the platform as well. And I can definitely see that's where Spotify wants to go to have that video format, because that would be mad. But
it would never be a free one.
No, it'd be like a paid for subscription most likely. But yeah, he really set the...
But in terms of like hosting as well, like you wouldn't be able to just upload videos for free.
Yeah, there'd be some sort of, well, like, you know, we pay like the premium for Spotify so you don't get ads. So there'll be different tiers and there'll be like creators amounts and stuff as well. But, you know, they'll probably get the high tier sort of people on there first, and then they'll open it up to the everyday public. But there's heaps of podcasts out there already.
Well, what other video apps are there? There's what's it called? Vivo, isn't it? Not Vivo.
Vimo?
Vimo, is that still around?
I think so.
Vimo. When did that start? Let's have a look.
Because Vimo was like, we're better than YouTube, but it didn't really work out that way.
What was the premise? I thought it was more like high-end,
like
high production value, like documentary type stuff,
Right.
underground.
So a bit like
Not
is it
Vimeo.
YouTube Red?
Vimeo. Sorry.
Was it a bit like YouTube Red, where that was like meant to be the more premium sort of
It was just-
pre-production,
I
high
feel
production
like
stuff?
the stuff that I used to watch on Vimeo was like stuff that you'd see sort of now on Netflix. Like,
Okay.
Like a lower budget, like high quality, but lower budget documentary than like a huge one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just like some guy that's got like 200 grand making a sick documentary, but it's too good to be on YouTube.
Or some uni students like thesis,
Thesis.
or like their graduating, project or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. Maybe.
Like it's still like pretty decent quality, but
Vimeo
it's not.
2004.
2004?
200 million users.
Right. Wait, was it Vimeo and then YouTube came around and stole it?
Oh, well, I'm not going to throw them under the bus like that, but I'm just going off what the first result says in terms of
When it was
starting.
around?
All right. Vimeo says users 200 million.
Okay. How many users on YouTube? Billions?
Definitely more than 200 million.
Yeah.
Have a guess.
Oh, I'm going to say like, I don't even know. 200 billion?
2 billion.
2 billion on
So
YouTube.
it's, what, 10x?
Mm.
Crazy.
It's just, but you just like when you have like two relatively similar platforms, like it's interesting to see like what's going to win out. Like, you had MySpace and Facebook. Facebook won out. You had Yahoo and Google won out.
What's next?
The next one. Well,
What's next?
What's the next big takeover?
Or what's the next wave, even?
Well, TikTok's been making waves for ages, and it's the same as like how when Snapchat came out, that made waves. So you have those bigger platforms wanting to buy them up or making collabs. So, like Instagram is such a huge platform, but you do have those big competitors coming through like TikTok. And then, so, they make reels to compete with that. And then YouTube makes YouTube shorts to compete with that sort of, portrait sort of style.
But when do you get sick of that? When do you get sick of an app trying to innovate too much just to keep up with the competitors and losing their... And we're just jumping between 15 different questions.
Mm.
When do you get sick of that? Like, when do you get sick of MySpace? When do you get sick of Instagram? Like, is it at a drop-off point where it's like, this app is rubbish now, they're changing too much, and then there's another one that's like, okay, it makes more sense to move on to this one now. Like,
I think a lot of the time it actually depends on what the younger generation are into as well, because they're going to be...
Everyone else will follow,
Yeah, because they're going to be the deciders, because as they start to get older, they will choose what platform they want to use more. So the people that run those platforms will either invest less resources to promote that platform. So, like I was saying before, like TikTok used to be just for young kids. No one older was on it. They wouldn't, everyone would laugh at you if you're on TikTok, if you're like past the age of like 15. But now it's like one of the bigger...
Same thing happened with Instagram and Facebook, or the kids, and then parents thought it was stupid, and then parents eventually want to like check in and catch up with their high school buddies, and then it's no longer cool anymore because the parents are on there, so the kids want to move to something else. Snapchat, TikTok now. Then I guess my question is like, what next? Like, we've gone from access to free videos and however many hundreds of videos uploaded every second onto YouTube at our fingertips, free information for over a decade, to now getting content shorter and shorter, and then creators wanting more of a piece of the pie for their efforts. Like, when does the free content stop, and when is everything going to be paid for and everyone be under some sort of subscription model?
Well, I think there'll always be a base service that will be free, because you need that initial free service to get people to interact with the platform in general. So
kick off the start onboarding of the actual
exactly
user base,
yeah. So that's why YouTube has the premium service, and Spotify has the premium service. You've got all these kind of ones, like you have an accessible free version, but obviously if you pay for it, you get heaps more benefits.
What's next?
I think I'm too old. I don't know what the young kids, if you're listening,
Well, the videos
what are you
are getting
into?
shorter and shorter. how short do they get? It comes back to like the very first thing we talked about is like a still image is like one image, right? One frame.
Yeah.
Not inspirational enough. Doesn't really photos are cool and everything, but whatever.
Yeah. So unless
and then 2 seconds is like you can't show enough. 3, 4, 5, you can't really show enough. 6, 7, 8 potentially can get enough information in that sort of package to get a point across, but not really. And then 15 seconds is probably the sweet spot. Like there's probably psychologists and brain experts that figure out the attention span, and I've decided on that sort of 15-second time frame. You can't really get any lower than that is my point. So like, is it going to just stay here for 5-10 years and everyone wants this short real story content and then swing back? Like what are we going to do, Sarah? What's the world going to do with video?
That's a really like good question though, because if you think about how fast technology or how fast the creators space moves to keep up with, I guess, worldwide engagement, like video does make sense, but I don't know what the next steps would be. Like it would maybe photos will just be null and void in general, and it's just all going to be video formats, or you know, whether it's going to be, if you have an iPhone, you know how you have that live option, so you click on the live and it's just like a little is it like 3 seconds
so it's
of
like GIF
movement?
essentially.
Yeah.
But you can't portray an argument or a thought or very much in that.
No.
It gives you a quick emotion, like someone dropping a glass is like, oh, it's kind of funny, like ha ha, but it's not like presenting like content, I guess.
And then I guess that's the other side of the coin, where you have people that, you know, crave that long format conversations. And I guess that's why podcasts are so popular, because whether it's Instagram, TikTok, it's very, very short format. So, you know, you're going through something really quickly and it's taking time and engagement flicking through. Whereas if you have like, you're able to listen or sit down to a long form conversation, I know you can learn more from it.
How soon before we're enveloped? Enveloped, is that a word?
Yeah,
enveloped?
I think so. Enveloped, yeah.
Embellished?
Embellished is like making it more than what it is.
Okay. At what point do we embrace the metaverse and just everything, you got 24-hour access to people? So rather than a 15-second clip or a 3-hour podcast or a 10-hour podcast, you just have direct access to someone's brain at all times.
All right, Elon Musk, honestly. That sounds creepy to me, but you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. But you said the metaverse. Are you talking like NFT metaverse? Or
well,
just
like the metaverse is like essentially you just plug in to a virtual universe.
So like plugging into The Sims.
So imagine if we could just have our virtual selves there.
Always.
Just always.
Right. So it'd be like, just say if we have like, 10 years worth of podcasts.
Not that anyone would want to like come to see us in the metaverse.
No,
but
just say we have like 10 years worth of podcasts. You can just put that in the metaverse and it'll just be like, just content always.
I'm thinking more of like just the brain. You can just interact with the brain.
Would it be like a copy of you? Or
it would have to be a copy.
Right,
and it just relays all your thoughts and
so
stuff.
It's like a copy
I feel like we should wrap this up because it's getting a bit
out there.
Yeah.
But like I was just thinking, like if it's a copy or a bot, like at what point is it no longer you and it's like its own AI and its own identity
exactly.
and its own like memories?
So like for example, very base version, you go to like whatever account on Facebook that's needs customer service. These Rode microphones, right? We needed a new screw adapter.
Yep.
For the
which has
stand
happened.
To work.
Yeah.
Facebook Messenger. It's a bot, right?
Yeah.
Answers you straight away. How can I help you? Need a new screw. And then it's an automated response. That, but us. So it's like 24-hour access.
So it's essentially just like...
So it's 24-hour content. You can, like, we do live videos, streams on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So it's like that for 24 hours, but it's not actually us.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that? Do you want to set that up?
Do you want to make that technology happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, sweet. We can...
I'm sure it's already being developed, but like my point is...
I feel like this is just the beginning of a horror movie.
Like all it comes down to is like access, like 15 seconds of access to this person and what they're providing. Yeah. 3 hours access to this person and what they're providing in this type of content.
Yeah. And then it comes down to, would that also be a paid for thing? So depending on like what subscription you have would be the amount of access you can have.
My brain's hurting. We should wrap this up.
You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, this is too much. Too much to think about.
Too much in-depth thought.
My brain hurts thinking about how crazy the future's going to get.
I know. Well, it just moves so fast and it's so hard to keep up. But I think we're doing all right.
So,
except I don't know what the young kids are into these days.
What are they into? Just TikTok?
I thought it was, unless if there's a new platform I don't know about, but who knows?
Just get all your information from TikTok. Any health concerns or DIY projects?
They do have some
news, updates, current affairs. TikTok has it all answered, and they're usually 16-year-olds giving you the answer.
Yeah, not always. There's a lot of adults on there now. There are.
So it's not fun anymore.
Not fun anymore, so there'll be something new.
All right. Well, hopefully you can show me something new on there. I haven't used TikTok in a while. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode about, what are we talking about? YouTube, creators, making videos, future of videos, just things we used to like, things we don't like.
Things that inspire us. All the above.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for listening. You can subscribe to the podcast.
You can on
Apple Podcast and Spotify. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and review there if you like us. We really appreciate it. The reviews help a lot to get us ranked up in the algorithm and to get other ears listening to us. And you can also see the video version,
Hi,
on YouTube at Look My Mum Hustling
podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you in the next pod.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Until
Bye.
next time. Bye.